Hey, what's up, everybody? All right, so this is Chef today, and I want to be able to give you guys a few levels to look at for the week, right? Something that's caught my attention, and I know this market's a little bit bearish still, but we still got to take in consideration where the levels are at when it comes to supply and demand, and just a few things that we're going to look for, right? So here we saw the markets basically bounce at this demand level, and this is the staircase pattern. Okay, let me just point that out that this was a nice staircase pattern all the way to the top. The way that you look at supply and demand is you want to look at the structures, right? So I pointed out these two structures. The rest of it is basically nice staircase pattern and there's structures on the bottom. But since we're right here, I only wanted to point out this one. And this one just makes a little more sense, okay? So with that being said, we did bounce from this 39.60 and this bottom of like 38.80, okay? From there, you have that supply of 41.40 all the way to that 42.30. It's a big supply zone. So right now we're kind of in the middle. So wherever the market decides to go, that's kind of the direction that we're going to test. We're either going to test that top or we're going to test this bottom. So from wherever we open, I guess the easiest way to put it is below this candle or above this candle is we're going to go up or we're going to go down. All right, let's just keep it that simple for now. So the bottom is going to be, you could use a psychological number, 4K, okay? Or you can use this, what is this, 40, you can just say 40.90 for the retest or for the retest on the bottom, okay? Remember that the sentiment is still a little bit bearish overall. All right, so now let's go look at NQ. We kind of have a little more of a different situation here. This is tech. And if you look at the whole tech sector in general, a lot of it ended up with a doji or a hammer candle overall. So we did bounce at this 120, 120.70, right? And then we have a small supply right here at 126.67, all the way to that 129.90. So we're going to keep this simple as well, since we're kind of like in between, right? We have a lot of sellers on the top and a lot of buyers on the bottom. So this candle, if we go below it, we're just going to trend on down. If we stay above it, okay, we're going to come inside and just kind of maybe have a closing bottom, closing candle inside of this level and potentially hold. If not, the sellers will come right back in and slap it right back down, okay? Very, very simple here. Okay, remember, we tested here, got bought up, came back inside, and we're going to come and test that supply again. If we can test that supply, it can turn into demand, and this can be the start of an uptrend, okay? And it's the same with ES. Okay, if we come in here and we close inside here, it's the start of a retest, the start of a continuation to the upside. Not saying that it's going to happen, but it's something to look forward to. If not, everything is still bearish. RTY, the one level that's, the one future as sector as a whole that hit a pre-COVID level, okay? So this was pre-COVID, and then this was COVID, and then we came in here and tested through COVID and broke out through COVID, right? So now we're having the retest of that breakout and that retest of that previous high pre-COVID. Okay, so we have that 17 that acted as a bounce level. So right now what we don't have is we don't have any structure whatsoever. So this one, very, very simple, over that 1820 or below that 1788. All right, just that candle body alone. Other than that, you're in the middle of nowhere where you don't have any type of setup. If you didn't buy it at that 17, there's no reason to come in here and say that it's going to be a reversal because there is no pattern, no structure, or anything like that. All we have is buyers on the bottom and the sellers on the top from this candle right here. So this one I'm just going to stay away from. All right, so the next weekly candles that I want you guys to look at are very important, okay? Nice hammer candle here. So entry above 45, target around 52. So I'm giving you guys the bullish scenarios here for the week. Nothing has to be bullish. Remember that specific level is your entry for a bullish sentiment on that specific ticker. So anything above 45, we're looking bullish, and be cautiously bullish, okay? The target high is 52. Next one is going to be PayPal. This one actually hit this bottom right here. So I zoomed out just a little bit more on this one, just so you guys can see how important this level is right here to 73, okay? It blew past 73 this week, but we never closed below it. And what this gave us actually was a nice doji right here at this bottom. This bottom on a weekly time frame where PayPal once had tons of value in the past that potentially can't have that same value moving forward. So imagine loading up shares at this price point and then taking it up as high as 310. Not saying that it could go to 310 again, but definitely look for a higher price point, even as high as this 120 or this 180 or 200. So whatever the case may be, you're still looking like it is in the past. You want to load up where it loaded up on the past. It's a great company. And into the future, you want to look for something that goes up, right? So anyways, it did have a nice doji here. Okay, so entry over 80, target 88 and 96. Okay, PayPal, like I said, it can be a great ticker to move up. The contracts are fairly cheap, so anybody can trade this. And getting time on this one just makes more sense. This, for me, will be my top setup for the week. And this is the one ticker that I will be looking at personally. And I am in shares, and I am in short-term leaps and long-term leaps as well. So have fun with that one. Disney's another one that caught my attention, just had earnings. Nice doji candle right here as well, but I like it over 110. Target would be 115 to 118, and it's a slow mover, so just be patient with this one. Amazon candle, nice little looking hammer right here as well. So if this thing can just stay over 2260 to 2290, I think psychologically breaking the 23, you have room to fill all the way to this candle of 2450 and 2490 around there. So we have room to push up or get dropped back down, okay? So just look for a nice green candle on Amazon, maybe a cool off or run up into the stock split, whatever comes first. Snap, nice little hammer candle as well. Very simple situation here. Anything over 25 is going to be bullish. Look for these wicks right here, 2637, 2770, and then this 2840 to 28. So here's your entry, and then here's your take profit area. I like TSM as well. The fact that we did find some support here, okay? Nothing major, of course, but this previous bounce right here from this 84.50 and this nice little area at 89. So psychologically, you want to think 90. So over 91, your target is about 95 to 98, okay? So again, looking for the bullish side of things, not really looking for a lot of bear setups. This one's a little easier. This is almost like Disney. It has its days where it likes to trend up. It has its days where it just moves sideways and then goes up. So it moves upward in a awkwardly way. But this one over 113, I would say trail it all the way to 115, 114, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, trail it all the way up. I think Nike's more of a patient play, and it can be considered a swing if we do have a bullish market, and it's more of a growth stock as well. So it likes to move a little more different. TWLO, great company as well. Please go do some DD on this. It's almost like the same setup as PayPal, in my opinion, where at once in the past it had some previous value for a long-term hold. And then now we're back at that same area down here at this like level 100 with a nice hammer candle as well. So this one, if it can go above this 112, I can see a nice momentum play for TWLO that can do something like this. I know it sounds crazy. Maybe you guys saying, well, why all the way to 140, right? Not necessarily 140, but just looking for a stronger candle on TWLO, just because of the break of trend and because of the hammer candle with the bullish market. This can have a pretty big move. Okay, so one of your first targets for this one. So I would look for this wick right here in this candle body, which is 122. From there, I would go to this next one, right? This candle body is right here, 137. From there, I would go all the way to 144. See, so I'm just using these candle bodies as targets, just because it's a break of trend. And then overall, like what you would want to see is this nice like V-shaped recovery all the way to this 170 right here. That's how you would want to see it in a bullish market. But unfortunately, we don't have that bullish market just yet, and we're being cautious on some of these setups. But when those setups come, it's better to be prepared to just start thinking a little more sentiment to the bullish side versus the bearish side. But be cautious, because again, the sentiment overall in the market is still bearish. There is still a lot of economical situations around the globe that's affecting the supply chains. So many things are being affected in a negative way that it's hurting a lot of these companies. But overall, the value of these companies are amazing right now. You know, tickers that are just beat down at some lows that just make sense to start buying into some shares long term, some equity, and don't think twice. You know, start building some portfolios, start building in things that make sense, that is going to help you grow in the future, right? We're not looking at the here and now, because this stuff is only temporary. When things get back to normal and things start to recover, then you're going to sit there and wonder why you never bought that dip. And the reason is because of the fear, because of the lack of knowledge, the lack of not making your own DD and investing into something that makes sense long term. Okay, so not telling you guys to start loading up huge amounts, but small amounts, little by little. If you had $10, start with one. Then as a month goes by, put in two. Another month goes by, put 3, 4, and so on and so forth, right? As long as you're building into your future and taking advantage of this amazing market that's giving you some great price points, okay? So keep that in mind, guys. We still do have a bearish market. We do have volatility still, and this market can do whatever it wants with or without you. So please stay green, manage your risk properly, and trade safely, and don't over position yourself. Okay. All right, guys. So I'll see you on the next one. Good luck this week, and hopefully we'll have another video up midweek. All right, guys. Stay green.